Welcome back to Supporting Physician Spouses. Today, I am so honored to have my dear friend, Dr. Sarah Grimmer, here today to talk about the research that she did as part of her PhD dissertation and a new program that she has. So you're going to want to stay listening until the very end so you can hear what that's about. So welcome to the show, Sarah. I would love for you to have the opportunity to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, about your family, and then we'll ask some questions about how you got into this research.
I'm Dr. Sarah Grimmer. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist in Texas. I have a PhD in clinical psychology. I wear a couple of different hats professionally. So I spend part of my time conducting psychological evaluations in private practice. And then I also create mental health and wellness content for physician families. I've been with my physician husband for 20 years, married for 12 of them. We have two amazing kids, ages 7 and 4, and one due next month in October. So we are soon to be a busy family of 5.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is so exciting. What a beautiful time of life. And you do have a beautiful family. I should say, I have met Sarah's husband and one of her children, and they are just super sweet.
Thank you.
Okay, so the question that I have, and I'm guessing most of our listeners probably have, is how in the world did you manage pursuing a PhD at the same time that your husband was also pursuing his career as a physician?
Oh my goodness. It's been a wild ride. Yeah. So I started my PhD in clinical psychology while he was in medical school. And then right before his first year of residency, we had our first child. We ended up having to move from the Dallas-Fort Worth area where we grew up, where all of our friends and family were, to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which was about 7 hours away. So his first year of residency, we were in a new city, new state, for a new job, with a new baby while pursuing 2 doctorate degrees. And it was a lot. It was a lot. I definitely experienced the highs and lows of medical training.
So going into your study as a PhD, did you know that you wanted to study physician spouse burnout, or how did that come about? Is it something you just always knew from the beginning, or did it come later?
Yeah, good question. So, as I started connecting with other spouses through local groups and, national groups, things like that, and just other spouses that my husband's, he worked with other physicians and I got to know their partners. And just talking about their experiences, I began to realize that other spouses were struggling too. Like we seemed to have similar stories circulating between us. So when it came time to pick my dissertation topic for grad school, it really did feel like a no-brainer to me. So I ended up creating a research study that looked at how perceived physician burnout impacts physician spouses. And what I ended up finding was a strong, significant association between perceived physician burnout and levels of anxiety, depression, and secondary traumatic stress. Amazing, right?
Well, it is amazing, but at the same time, also, I think anybody who's walked that path is like, yeah, that makes total sense.
It was not a surprise to me at all, but it felt really good to have data to support the experiences that so many of us were having.
Yeah. Do you feel like personally you were experiencing the increased levels of anxiety and depression and somehow just now had the words to be able to quantify it because you were in that field of study?
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely felt anxiety, some depression, and absolutely the secondary traumatic stress. So all 3 of those I had experienced personally, and then also just talking with other people and recognizing that they were experiencing it too.
Yeah. I think we probably all know a little what anxiety is and what depression is, but perhaps secondary trauma is a concept that's not as familiar.
Yeah, so when we're talking about anxiety and depression, it's important to remember that everyone experiences stress and low mood at some point in their day or week. But if you notice that you are feeling keyed up, on edge, irritable, losing pleasure in doing things that you used to enjoy, feeling hopeless, maybe sadness, and if you notice that it's impacting your ability to function every day, maybe then this could be an indication that we're talking more about clinical anxiety or clinical depression. In this series, Kendra, we talk about secondary traumatic stress as something physician families often experience when they repeatedly are exposed to the emotional weight of medicine. So this could be like hearing difficult stories, things that your partner went through at work, absorbing stress from your partner's work, or even just witnessing the ripple effects of trauma at home. So if you're experiencing things like increased levels of anxiety, irritability, maybe emotional numbing, like shutting down or feeling detached. Intrusive thoughts is another big one some people don't think about. But if you're having like mental images pop into your mind related to your partner's story and they're distressing to you, maybe these are indicators that you are experiencing secondary traumatic stress.
I think we all kind of understand, like, oh, if I'm experiencing problems with anxiety and depression, I should go and see a therapist for that. Are all three of these kind of lumped together? Like, you can't experience secondary trauma without having either depression or anxiety?
Yeah, it seems to be that they're a package deal. So if you're experiencing secondary traumatic stress, I would imagine it would be difficult not to experience increased levels of stress and low mood. So whether or not
Yeah.
that progresses, to a clinical level depends on the individual and other factors. But absolutely, they seem to go together.
If you could tell us a little bit about how you collected the data and came to these conclusions.
So I measured anxiety, depression, and secondary traumatic stress using common screening questionnaires that we often use in the clinical setting, because the goal was to really tease apart whether spouses were experiencing just a little bit of stress and low mood, or if this was something more clinical that really needs attention and needs to be addressed in some way.
And how did you find these participants, and what was that number like? What was the response?
Yeah.
Tell us about that process.
So it was quite a process, but actually I ended up collecting over 200 responses from physician spouses. And what I did was posted on local groups. So spouse organizations were a big one. There are several organizations on Facebook, social media that I tapped into, and then also just having the personal connection of spouses in my immediate circle, and then just asking spouses to send them to other spouses that they may know, and just creating this snowball effect of collecting data.
So that's actually how Sarah and I met. Is I remember she had posted something in one of the groups that I belong to, and I flagged her real fast, like as somebody that I need to pay attention to. So I'm glad I happened to be in one of those groups that you shared that survey. So let's talk about maybe the results of your research. I know you said it wasn't surprising because you and I both have that experience, that anxiety, depression, the whole package that it comes with. What did you find as far as percentage of participants that were experiencing negative effects from having gone through training with their partner?
Good question. I don't remember the exact statistical numbers off the top of my head, but I remember being surprised by how many spouses were experiencing elevated levels of anxiety. Not even elevated, but in the moderate to severe range of anxiety, depression, and secondary traumatic stress. And one thing I will add, Kendra, is something that did surprise me was the number of spouses who thought about suicide or had suicidal ideations, the number who made a plan, and the number who made an attempt.
This podcast is going to air the day before National Physician Suicide Awareness Day, and this entire month is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So do you have any of the statistics about how prevalent that was in the physician-spouse community?
Yeah, so the statistics for physician-spouse suicidality from my study were actually quite high. So 23% had at least one passing thought about suicide. 14% had a plan but did not attempt. 6% had a plan and really wanted to. And almost 3% of physician spouses had attempted suicide.
Wow. I know we have data for the number of physicians who commit suicide because they obviously have titles and roles and jobs and things that, you can go through and collect. For physician spouses, it's a little bit difficult to quantify how many physician spouses actually take their own life each year.
Absolutely.
But we know it happens, and it's
devastating.
It's a trend. Yeah, it really is. One of the things that I highlighted in your research paper had to do with there being no evidence that a person's resiliency shielded them from the effects of anxiety, depression, or secondary trauma. If I read that right in your paper, at least, that's what I understood it to say, is that those personality traits or those things that we think are going to protect us don't always protect us. Can you maybe elaborate or expand on that?
Yeah, I think what it's telling us is that there really is something about medical life that is impacting spouses. It's not just, if you have the right personality or if you have, all of the right tools in place or support system in place that you'll be perfectly fine. No, I think what it's telling us is that medical training is hard. Living a life in medicine after medical training is hard, and it really is impacting all of us on some level.
So what would you say to somebody who's like, oh, it had no impact on me at all?
Lucky.
Not that I've met anybody like that, but I am curious. I'm sure there's somebody who exists.
Sure.
Like, this wasn't a problem at all. I didn't experience any difficulty.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And, I would be curious to know more about their experience. And when they met their physician partner, it just seems like when I met my partner, we were at the very beginning, we were in pre-med. So we experienced pre-med, medical school, residency, and then attending life. So I really got the full picture of what it was like to move through each of those stages. But yeah, I would love to hear from spouses who didn't have any difficulty at all. Maybe they can breathe some life into the rest of us.
Like I said, I've never met any of them, so I'm not sure. I mean, the work that I do is really focused, kind of like you, with the ones who are struggling and having difficulty, only because that was my experience too. I think you and I both share that. Like, something has to be done. So maybe let's go there next. What are you doing with this research, and what's next for you?
So I'm piloting a new program called Well Rounds. It's a digital video series that's designed specifically for physicians and physician spouses. So each video, or module is what I call them, covers a different topic relevant to medical families. So we're going to talk about things like anxiety, depression, secondary trauma, compassion fatigue, family dynamics, parenting, building strong connections with your partner, and so much more. The way it works is that for each topic, I would like you to walk away with a greater understanding of how these issues show up in yourself, your marriage, and family life so that you can recognize them and manage them more effectively. So the whole goal is to thrive in medical life. We don't want to just survive it.
I love that. And I should also just tell everybody, I've had the chance to preview this work, and it really is excellent. Otherwise, I would not have brought Dr. Grimmer on. Is this just for the physician spouse? Is it for the physician and the physician spouse? How do you imagine them using this material?
If you could come with your physician spouse, I think that would be amazing for both of you to be able to take in the information, to share it with each other, and to grow together. So I think that would be ideal. You don't have to come with your spouse. It could be just for physician spouses or just for physicians, and both of you could walk away with really valuable insight, tools and skills. So I guess to answer your question, it is both for physician spouses, or the couple coming in together.
Yeah, I'll add that my husband has also previewed the material, and he is absolutely blown away by the quality of the content that you've shared.
Thank you.
You're not just providing content for people to consume. Can you tell us about how they can take this and meet with others and discuss topics that are related to each module?
Absolutely. So the way that it works is that you'll watch or listen to, if you prefer that, a 15 to 20-minute video on your own about the topic for that module. Then you'll join a small group discussion virtually to just do a deeper dive into the material. It comes with guided questions, reflection questions for you to discuss with the group. There are 2 discussion group times to choose from right now. So one we have in the middle of the day and one we have at night. There are 10 topics total in this series. So you will eventually have access to all 10 videos. We're releasing them monthly right now, one each month.
Yeah, this is probably a good time to plug our sponsor. I'm not sure if that's the right word or not, but this program is really made possible through the work that both Sarah and I have done with the Tarrant County Medical Society Alliance here in DFW. So both Sarah and I are local to this area. This is our alliance chapter, and the leadership of this alliance has been nothing but supportive of Sarah's work in supporting physician families. And so we partnered with them last year to create kind of a live version that was delivered. And this year, we're working on something that is delivered virtually so that more people can participate and be involved. And here's where things are really fun, because Dr. Grimmer is going to be personally facilitating this first discussion group. So she is going to be the one fielding the questions and moving the conversation along. And so if you want to be a part of that, you do need to register. I will include the link in our show notes, but you have to register through Tarrant County Medical Society Alliance. This is absolutely free. So you register, you'll get the link for the content that you consume, and then you'll have the downloadable worksheet that goes with that module. And then you'll also have the option to sign up for one of 2 virtual discussion groups that Dr. Grimmer will be hosting. And those are Tuesday, September 16th at noon Central Time and 8 p.m. Central Time. And so all of the details will be on that invitation link. So please go register. I will be there. Dr. Grimmer will be there. We hope to see many of our friends there who are concerned about physician families and creating a system of knowledge, information, and connection around really important topics for physician families. We hope that you will join us there. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the series or this work?
That I hope to see you all there. Since it's 100% digital, you can join us from wherever you're located. So I think this is an exciting time for medical families, and I hope to see you there.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. And if you have any questions or thoughts that you'd like to share with Dr. Grimmer, Sarah, why don't you tell us how people can reach you?
Yeah, so I have a professional Instagram account. My name is Dr. Sarah Medlife, and you are also welcome to email me. My email address is sarahdamsongrimmer@gmail.com.
And we'll be sure to put both of those ways to contact you in our show notes. Okay, this has been a pleasure, Sarah. I always love talking to you.
Same, Kendra. It's always a pleasure. Always.
Okay, so everybody has their instructions now. Go to the show notes, pull up the link to register, find a time that works for you to meet with Dr. Grimmer and a group of us who are passionate about this topic and want to spread the good news. And hopefully we'll see you on September 16th. All right, that wraps up our episode for today with Dr. Sarah Grimmer. Again, we've referred to her many times on this podcast because she is a dear friend, but more than that, she is a very accomplished academic researcher in the area of physician families and physician spouse burnout. I also want to share that Dr. Grimmer and myself, along with Katie Harris, Dr. Lisa Muhlenbein, and Dr. Lori Boys, have also authored an academic paper that is being presented this weekend at the American Conference on Physician Health in Boston. Sadly, I won't be there. I will be moving my daughter into her freshman dorms at college, and I'm very excited about that. And trust me when I say it was a very difficult decision. Always family first, but my heart is going to be in Boston as well, wishing these ladies good luck as they represent the Physician Family Experience Survey that we conducted in 2023 with the American Medical Association Alliance. So if you happen to be in Boston, be sure to stop by the table for the American Medical Association Alliance and say hi to either Lisa or Lori. Again, we appreciate you listening. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this podcast with your friends. And if you'd like to connect with us or suggest topics that we can discuss, please send them to us through Instagram. at Supporting Physician Spouses, or you can email us at hello@supportingphysicianspouses.com. That's all we have for you today. Next week, we'll be back with Katie. Thank you again. We'll see you soon.